Welcome back, guys. So it's no news that the Nigerian Super Eagles failed to defeat South Africa in their home soil. That's the Uyo Stadium in the last game. But right now, the team is now focused on the next task ahead, which is the game against Benin Republic. It's going to be played tomorrow, Monday, 5 p.m. is the time, and the venue is Felix Hoifet-Boigny Stadium. It's a stadium in Ivory Coast, in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. And that's the stadium that Benin Republic will be using to host Nigeria as their home game. Technically, they were supposed to host us in their own country, but CAF didn't sanction any of their stadiums because it was, they were below standards. They didn't meet up to the standard of CAF, so that was why they had to borrow the stadium in Ivory Coast. But again, for the Nigerian team, every plan, every momentum is gathered towards that one. And Coach Finidi had a number of things that he said after that South African game, which I shared in the last video. And interestingly, he has also now talked a little bit about the injury situation of some of the players that we were worried about after that South African game, the likes of Dele-Bashiru, a top player who showed himself in that game and unfortunately had an injury. Finidi had a number of things to say about his injury, and I'm going to let you know about that shortly in this video. But for this game against Benin Republic, it's a very, very interesting game, not just because it's a match that we have to win to be up there, in the Group C table, but also for the fact that the Nigerian Super Eagles players will be meeting again with their former coach, Coach Gernot Rohr, who is now the head coach of the Benin Republic side. And some of our players were actually handed their debut for Nigerian Super Eagles by Gernot Rohr, the likes of Paul Nachu, obviously being handed his debut for Nigerian Super Eagles by Gernot Rohr back in 2019. So it's going to be very interesting. But for the starts for these two teams, it's really very interesting, and Nigeria has the upper hand, in terms of head-to-head meetings. In the past between these two teams, we've actually met these guys 16 times, won them 13 times, and drawn 2, and then lost 1. So if these statistics is anything to go by, then Nigeria obviously has an advantage over the Republic for that Monday night or Monday evening encounter. But we know how it is. It's football. It's not all about history. It's not all about statistics. It's about the now. It's about the present, how the team play in the present. That's what determines whether you're going to win the match or not. And of course, Coach Finidi knows this. He has said that Benin Republic is not going to be it's not going to be an easy side. It's not going to be a walk in the park for the team. And to show you that these guys are not an easy side, over the weekend that we were playing South Africa, they were also playing Rwanda, and they won that game 1-0 at the point or at the time when Rwanda were the table toppers. Right now, they've moved up the table, definitely ahead of Nigeria, who still sits, depressingly in the 5th position. But Lesotho are the ones that are topping the league, the group, rather. And this game is definitely a game that we have to win. So for Coach Finidi, a victory tomorrow is going to be something very fantastic for him, as it will push Nigeria somewhere up the table, but still subject to the result from other teams. But it's definitely going to be something really nice for him. And although the time for the preparation is not really much, 3 days in between, and now we just have today. Tomorrow is the game, and the team is apparently traveling today. Hopefully they'll get there this evening and then try to settle in. So it's very likely that maybe their training is going to be like once. Major training will be like once before the game, and it's most likely going to happen maybe tonight, if they have the strength. But definitely tomorrow morning we'll see these guys train and do some very important tactical, strategic work ahead of that game. On the injury front, Coach Finidi actually gave a brief talks regarding the injury of Dele-Bashiru, who of course was the star man for that game. He had to limp off towards the 59-60 minutes of that South African game after he scored a goal, and then was clattered in the penalty box of the South African side. But after that huge challenge, it was always going to be a question mark on Dele-Bashiru, whether it's going to be available the next 3 days to actually face Benin Republic. And Finidi actually cleared the air for that one, but he wasn't very specific, and it's just how it is. He stated that Dele-Bashiru had a very serious knock, and that it's not for him to say whether he's going to be fit for the Benin Republic game, but the coach said that these kinds of injuries, when you wake up in the morning and then you assess how your body feels, then you know the severity of that injury. That's what Finidi said. There hasn't been any latest regarding whether it's going to be available, but of course, fitness checks and all of that is still going to be conducted in training. Hopefully today evening under the floodlights or tomorrow morning. But definitely tomorrow morning we should know if Dele-Bashiru is going to be available or not. He didn't really say much about other players. I mean, the likes of Semi Ajayi, who had to be subbed because of some complaints. Alpha didn't really clear the air on that one. But again, I'm sure in the coming hours, we are definitely going to know the guys that are fit. Finidi is going to give a pre-match conference where he would state what's happening with the team, who and who are available, whether he has a clean bill of health for the team or not. Trust me to give you guys the latest regarding Nigerian Super Eagles and how they're preparing for this one. It's either I make a video about it or I drop it, as on the community tab as a post. But away from the Nigerian Super Eagles camp, let me let you know that Kelechi Iheanacho has now bid his farewell to Leicester City, and apparently he would not be playing with the club for next season, even though he was part of the team that actually helped promote them back to the Premiership. His contract obviously expired this season, this month. Not only him, indeed, he also has his contract expiry date at the end of this June. But Kelechi Iheanacho, Leicester City does not want to renew the contract because they feel that he has offered everything to the club and it's time for him to leave. Of course, this man has had a great career with Leicester City. He spent up to like 7 years, in the club since joining from Man City, and he's had to score around 61 goals and 34 assists for the club in 232 appearances total. He's won a number of trophies for the club. The FA Cup and the Community Shield, were the two very important trophies that he actually won, and then winning the championship just last couple of weeks, to help promote them back into the Premiership. One of my last videos, I talked about the fact that Kelechi Iheanacho is a subject of interest to a number of clubs, particularly some clubs in the Turkish Super League. We'll see how this develops in the next couple of weeks. Of course, Kelechi is with the team preparing for this game against Benin, but definitely his agent is going to be working around the clock to make sure that he gets the best club and the best deal for the man. Finidi is also someone that, his contract will be expiring, as I mentioned. Leicester City appears to want to offer a new contract to Wilfred Ndidi because they feel that he still has something to offer to the team. But the contract detail and everything, such as maybe like the duration, hasn't really been communicated. But of course, Ndidi is also with the team in this World Cup qualifiers games. But his agent is also going to be talking with Leicester City as and when they have any important thing to say. Hopefully, he gets a new contract, an improved contract. They decided before he's interested in going to other club, even in the Premiership, provided that club is within top 6. And if he doesn't get that, he can also go elsewhere outside of, outside of EPL. I also mentioned in one of the last videos that he's interested in going to the La Liga, playing under Atletico Madrid. He fancies playing in the UEFA Champions League. That's the video, guys. Thank you for watching this one. Don't forget to like and share the video. React to any of the stories that you like. Take care of yourself. Stay tuned to the channel. More updates and rambling regarding Nigerian Super Eagles.